Good evening. Welcome to Politicket Podcast. We've got Corinne Johnson with us today. And Corinne, you were selected by Carson Jorgensen to be lieutenant governor. And tell us a little bit about that experience.
Oh, it was amazing. I'm so grateful I had the opportunity. Carson is a good friend of mine, but also one of the most amazing conservatives in the state of Utah. And I think an incredible leader. He was an amazing party chair. And when he called and asked me to run, I knew immediately that it was the right thing to do. And I was happy to jump in the race. I got 3 solid days, 3 days as a lieutenant governor candidate, and no regrets. And it was absolutely incredible. That
was cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so why you? Why did Carson pick you? You just want to,
Well, I think Carson's really smart.
You can brag on yourself.
Yeah, I get to brag on myself. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Carson was really smart to pick a parents' rights champion here in the state of Utah. Parents' rights is an issue that affects so many people in the state, whether you're a grandparent, a parent, or you're just invested in the future of our state and what's happening in our education system. And that's really where I have gotten my political experience. I launched Utah Parents United in 2020 during COVID, and we've spent the last 4 years building an organization that protects parents' rights and that teaches parents about education and what's going on. We've passed amazing landmark legislation with legislators on the Hill and really made a big change in the state of Utah. I like to say you can see the parent fingerprint all over the state. And so I think that was a really good move to say, we're going to elevate the parental rights platform and let's take this issue right to the governor's office. Let's put someone who is invested in parental rights in that position.
Yeah. So I think that's fabulous. Your start is kind of interesting when you started because it was during COVID, right?
Yeah.
Really, that's what really kind of motivated this. And you had these incredible billboards all over that basically just said, I think they said, let them see your smile.
See my smile.
See my smile. That's, yeah.
Yes. And actually, that's the first time I took on Governor Cox in the state of Utah. And that's another reason I ran, is because I really do not believe Governor Cox has been strong on parental rights issues as a governor. And it started in COVID, and I remember chasing Governor Cox through the convention.
I was actually standing there.
You there?
That day.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was such a blur. It was so amazing. But he was not talking to parents. He was
You
not
had these
working
little
with parents.
little stickers that you were pinning on everybody as they came in.
Yep, they had these round See My Smile stickers. We had thousands of them, and everyone took a sticker. Legislators, parents, everyone took a sticker and had a See My Smile sticker on. And
I remember distinctly. I don't know how I was there at that time, but I remember you took that little sticker and you just patted it on.
Right on. You should have seen his bodyguards jump when I tap the sticker right on his lapel. But I think it was a really important moment for parents and for me personally to be like, we are not going to be sidelined. You need to listen to us as parents in this state. We do not want to have our rights taken away. And that is what was happening. The governor put out a mask mandate for all Utahns and then masked our children in school. And he removed the mandate for adults. So as an adult, you remember, no one was wearing masks at convention except the governor. He had a mask on, but no one else was wearing a mask. No other candidates, no other parents, no one was wearing a mask. But on Monday, I had to send my child to school in a mask. And we said, no, this is not okay. This isn't right. You have to stop taking away our rights as parents to make these decisions. And we really decided at that moment that Utah Parents United and See My Smile was going to change the state. And it did. And Governor Cox did remove the mask mandate. And I think he just realized that the political momentum was headed that direction, and he couldn't stop it. The school districts all caved. They all started allowing parents to turn in mask exemptions. And so we eventually got the masks off our kids, but we had to fight first. And this is something that, I've seen happen again and again with Governor Cox. And, I have nothing against him personally, but on his policy for parental rights, he has been weak. And we had it with the masking issue, and then we also had it with the pornographic books. So that's the second issue that we took on, and that I so proud of our organization for working on. When we found these pornographic books in Utah schools, and these are salacious, explicit, pornographic books.
When I was involved in that in the legislature, it blew me away when I finally saw these books.
Yeah.
I just thought, how in the world did they end up in the library?
How did they get in our schools, right? And you saw them. We showed these books. We were telling parents and telling the media and telling everybody what was in the books. And the legislature, yourself, Ken Ivory, a parent rights champion, leadership, all said, we will do anything to get this out of Utah schools. We've got your backs. We're going to make this happen. And Governor Cox had a press conference and he says, let's be cautious. We're going to pump the brakes on removing books from schools. There might be children who want to read these books and can relate to them. We were absolutely dumbfounded. We were stunned.
I don't think
this is the ALA. This is the NEA. This isn't Utah.
Yeah, and what's interesting is at that time, I think the public just said, "Oh well, we don't burn books, right? That's what the Germans did, right?"
This was not banning books.
This is not Diary of Anne Frank.
No, absolutely not. And to this day, we have never met with Governor Cox. We never got a chance to show him the books. I don't know if he's ever even seen them. And that, again, showed me that he's not strong on that issue for parental rights. Now, eventually, again, he came around. He signed the bill into law. But we made sure it was veto-proof. HB 374 was a bipartisan veto-proof bill because we weren't sure as an organization what the governor was going to do, because he told us, let's be cautious. So, I mean, and just one more. I'm going to give you one more issue where I feel like Cox has been weak on parental rights, and that is dealing with protecting girls' sports in the state of Utah. And Governor Cox vetoed HB 11, which was an amazing bill by Kira Birkeland that would protect girls' sports by not allowing boys to compete in girls' sports in Utah. And Governor Cox vetoed that bill, standing with the 1% of the 1% minority in the state, while there are hundreds of thousands of parents in the state of Utah who have daughters who are competing in girls' sports in this state. And we were hung to dry when he vetoed that bill. And we're told, you don't matter, your daughters don't matter, their opportunities for scholarships, for safety do not matter. And that was a huge moment in the state of Utah for us to realize that we had to go to our legislature to get this done. Our governor was not going to protect our girls. And I'm so grateful, John, you did. The legislature did it.
Right.
You got the veto overridden. That bill is law in Utah. And we protected our girls. And we're going to continue to stand up against Title IX, the new changes to Title IX. But that's why I ran.
We just filed a suit.
Yes, Carson, I'm going to run because I wanted to let parents know that if you want a parents' rights governor, it's Carson or it's Lyman, because they have been the ones who've been there from day one. We didn't have to push them in that direction. They stood with us from the beginning.
Very good. Hey, we're going to take a break and we'll come right back.
Hi, I'm Matt Hymas, and I'm running to represent District 10 on Utah's State Board of Education. My focus for the state is on academic excellence. Reading, writing, and arithmetic are not just subjects, they're the building blocks of a well-rounded education that opens doors of opportunity for our children. Providing high-quality education to our children should always be a priority for the Utah State Board. Furthermore, I strongly believe that no one knows what's better for a child than their parents. So for children to excel, we must empower parents to be fully involved in their children's education. With your help, we can create an educational system that strengthens the minds of our children and gives them confidence in their ability to succeed. I'm Matt Hymas, and I ask for your vote to represent District 10 on Utah's State Board of Education.
Welcome back to Politica. We've got Corinne Johnson with us today, and we're talking about your run for Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, amazing.
Great experience. So let's talk a little bit about the convention. What was that like for you?
I love it. I get excited for convention every year. So like my first convention we talked about before, we're pinning that sticker on Cox and being with my people. Like that's what it feels like. You're there with parents who care about their kids and care about education, and so many amazing patriots. And so immediately we I just fell in love with the vibe and the feeling of convention. And we have encouraged parents across the state to become delegates. It's a huge push that we do. And I have parents tell me after caucus night, we get them to caucus, we get them to be delegates, and then we post and we like, who's a delegate? And hundreds of parents say, I'm a delegate, I'm a first-time delegate. And when you go to convention and you see who's there, it is the most beautiful cross-section of Utahns. Everyone is represented. The moms, the dads, the grandmas, the grandpas, business people, hard workers, farmers, ranchers, rural. It's just incredible. And we all come together for this amazing cause to use our voice to protect our republic.
Right.
And it's representative government. And I love it.
In the finest way, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You go do the things that your neighbors don't have time to do.
Yeah, you really do. And this year was especially unique to be a candidate. It gave me an opportunity to talk to hundreds of delegates, both before convention and during convention, and to meet them and shake their hands and look into their eyes and hear their concerns and talk about how we can help make Utah better, how we can help it be more conservative, how we can protect the party platform. And they were amazing. I didn't meet any delegates who were angry or who were what Cox labeled as the right-wing extremists. That was absolutely stunning to me, that I had this experience of meeting with delegates, and Cox, who never came to a meet and greet, who never met with the delegates, who had a big booth, bought his way onto the ballot, bought his way with pizza into the good graces of these delegates, could then say on that stage that they are haters. He didn't shake their hands. He didn't look in their eyes. How can you say that about 4,000 people, 4,000 Utah patriots? And I felt it was extremely disingenuous, very harmful to the party, harmful to Utah, and frankly, hypocritical.
It's interesting that all the party chairs across the country wrote it. I mean, across the state,
Yeah.
right? They wrote a thing basically saying, "Look, these are good people. They showed up. 4,000 people starting at 7 o'clock in the morning."
I was there at like 6 a.m. and didn't leave till midnight. It was a long day.
I mean, it took an hour to get out of the parking lot.
It did. You had to turn off your vents so you didn't breathe in all the fumes, but it was worth it. I would do it again tomorrow. And I talked to so many first-time delegates who at the beginning, and it got longer and longer and longer, and they're like, oh, I can't do this again. But now I've asked them, I'm like, so? And they're like, I would do it again. I would be there again and do it again. And so this idea that the delegates won't do it, that people won't come and participate, I do not believe it. I think that there is a beautiful sense of fulfilling your duty and holding on to this obligation we have as citizens of this state, that we are the people and we are the ones who can protect our republic, that people take that very, very seriously and they respect that duty and they will continue to do that. And we need to continue to protect the caucus system. I took my family too, John. I wanted to mention that, because there was also some conversation about how it wasn't family friendly. I think it was Deidre Henderson who says, oh, this wasn't family friendly. All my girls, my little son was there. He's 9. My nieces came. They're adorable. They stood out. They held Jorgensen signs. They also talked to hundreds of people. My 11-year-old's passing out flyers down the row. Everyone was so kind and so respectful to them. They wanted to stay all day. And I made them go home because I knew they'd be tired, but they loved it and they want to come back. And so I really think that this argument that convention doesn't represent the people of Utah, that the people were angry and they were obscene and they were right-wing. I disagree with all of it. I don't think it's true. I think it's propaganda specifically designed to take away the caucus convention system, which is the last and truest form of republic representative government we have in Utah, and we have to protect it.
Well, did you find that the delegates were pretty well prepared, that they actually...
Yes.
They actually showed up? I know when I went to meet and greets, it was amazing to me how many people actually came.
I was at a meet and greet in Davis County where you couldn't even walk in the room. It was so full. And we had to wait for people to filter out to even walk in the room. The delegates came out in force. We know what is at stake right now in the state of Utah and what we have to do to protect it. And that is to elect conservative candidates who represent our values, our traditional values. And they went to find those candidates, and I believe they did. And I think they got it right. The candidates that were elected at convention do represent Utah and represent our traditional conservative values. And Carson and I, we're so grateful to have gotten the votes we got. We got 25% of the vote. We only needed like 100 more votes to have beat Cox.
Yeah.
So that's
pretty amazing. Right?
I know. I'm like 100 more votes and we could have been second and really shown where Republicans feel about our governor. He does not represent our conservative values right now. But the candidates that came out of convention, we must support them. Lyman and Staggs, both the governor and the Senate candidates that won overwhelmingly at convention need our support. So now as delegates, we need to do the next step. We need to talk to our friends and talk to our
become that grassroots network that's
Absolutely.
so powerful within the party, right?
Yes. And let's show everyone in the state, and let's show Governor Cox, and let's show Deidre Henderson that they're wrong. They're wrong about convention. They're wrong.
Well, one thing, there was a survey that came out on KSL.com that basically talked about over 60% of the people were not satisfied with the direction in the state of Utah. Over 60%. So was that just the radical right that was responding to that survey?
Oh, no, I don't think so. And I think that you have this weird contrast where, 60% of people are not happy with the direction of Utah. And I think that's a critique on leadership. And then we also are the #1 state in the nation. And you think, why is there such a big divide between those two things? And we have an incredible legislature. They're passing amazing laws. They have shaped the economic policy, the family culture policy, the policies that make us #1. But we do not have a statesman as our governor. We don't.
So you think that's what they were?
I think that is the divide. I think people see the leadership, and the leadership of the state doesn't seem to match what the legislature is doing. It doesn't seem to match Utah values. And we have the New York Times running an article that we have the most woke governor in the nation. Something doesn't add up. And I think Utahns see that, and that's why we have
there was a New York. Tell me about this New York Times article.
The New York Times wrote an article about Governor Cox, and the title is the most woke Republican governor in the nation is in Utah, and I think that is not representative of Utah values. We need a governor who represents us.
Very good. So, any parting thoughts? Oh, one of the things I wanted to mention during that whole campaign on the masks, you guys were able to get quite a following. How big was that?
Huge. And we didn't do it alone. The grassroots networks across the entire state all came together. And because we did that, we covered the state. We had rallies and we had groups meeting from Washington County to Cache County, from Kane County to Tooele County. The whole state was engaged. And we stopped masking of our children through that campaign. And so I know we can do it again. I know we can elect a conservative governor because we did that.
I know in the legislature, most of the committee meetings, there's someone from Utah Parents United there, right?
Yes.
And the lobbying effort that goes on from parents is huge. I know the legislature listens.
Thank you.
Right? Yeah.
That's our goal. We always go up to the Hill each session with our priority legislation, and you can find it on our website, utahparentsunited.org. You can see what bills we passed this last session. There's a little button you can click. And you'll see that all of them protect parental rights, but we work really hard with the legislature.
You've got to be one of the biggest group of unpaid lobbyists that we have in Utah, right?
We're not paid. We go up and we say, hey, look, we're the parents. We're here to bring their voice into the conversation, and we're not paid to do this. And so let's get these bills passed and let's do it. And we protect kids.
So you're a nonprofit, right? Mm-hmm. So how could people donate to your cause?
Oh, yes. Go to utahparentsunited.org and click on the donate button, and you can send us money that way. We have a Venmo. It's really easy to donate to our organization. And
how's that money used?
Well, we use the money to keep up all of our communications. So we're on every single platform from social media, and we do an email that we send out. We have our web hosting that we have to do. We have a billboard, we have a small office space, and then marketing. We do marketing, we go to events. So all of the funds pay for those things. We're all unpaid volunteers. No one in the board gets any money from Utah Parents United. This is our passion, and so we don't want to get paid to do that. So we do rely on the donations from volunteers, and we have. I mean, we're around 50,000.
On your mailing list.
Yeah, well, between the people who follow us and subscribe to our mailing list and our text. So text updates are great. You can get a text alert right on your phone. We have 50,000 followers across the state.
50,000.
50,000.
That's got to be one of the biggest networks in the state now, right?
Well, parents care. They want to know what's going on with their kids, and they want to get engaged. And grandparents too. Tons of grandparents are involved in Utah Parents United to help protect the next generation of Utah children. And so we should absolutely be the largest organization in the state because we represent those people who are really invested and really care about what's happening in Utah. And they're young. We have Instagram is incredible. We have 13,000 followers just on Instagram, and they're young moms, young dads, really trying to do what's best for their children. And we are honored to support them and help them.
Okay, we're out of time. Why don't you make a final pitch there?
So I would just say that as parents in Utah, come follow us, come join us, come work with us to protect parental rights in this state and to elect conservative leadership in this state. And we need a change, and you can help. You can help make a difference.
Thank you. Corinne Johnson, thank you.
Thanks, John.
We'll see you guys next week.